Hi, Naveena Shine here. This is Living on Light. It's on the day before the end of the experiment. So I wanted to give you a quick update, probably the last one, in fact, certainly the last one, of the data from the experiment. Today I reached 125 pounds, which was the weight I said was going to be the time when I was going to have a red mark on it anyway. So today's the red mark day. I certainly wasn't going to go down to 120, even though I believe that is supposed to be the weight I'm supposed to be at, if I wasn't overweight. So 125 today, and I am certainly clear that I was going to need to stop anyway. So having it stopped by tomorrow seems like everything has come together in a very serendipitous way. The question, am I living on light, has certainly not been answered. It hasn't not been answered either. It hasn't had anything. It's just neither yes nor no. It's still very much in the I don't know. And I think that's where it's meant to be. I talked about that in my last YouTube. So I think it's exactly fine as it is. So let me just give you the weights and the measurements so that our wonderful scientists out there can see what's been going on. Okay, so the bust measurement is now 36. That's a total loss of 3 inches. Remember, I was pretty overweight before. The waist is now 34 inches. And that's a total loss of 2 inches. I'm actually surprised that was so little, actually. The hips are now 39 inches. And that's a total loss of 3.5 inches. And a big one. I'm so pleased about this one. The belly was 37 today, and now that's a loss of 6.5 overall. The arm, 11 inches, which is a total loss of 0.5 inch. And the leg is now 20.5 inches, and that's a total loss of 4.5 inches. So the weight being 125 gives it a loss from the last meal of 34 inches, and from the actual date of the experiment starting, the 3rd of May, 28, not inches, I mean pounds, 28 pounds and 34 pounds from the very beginning. So all of those things are within the parameters of a fast, nothing more than that. People do this. I have friends who've done 40 days, 45 days, whatever. So it doesn't tell us anything about living on light. I feel really great. I mean, it feels, I exercise 3 times a day now. I dance. It's got lots of energy. Hands still get cold. I mean, once it gets down less than 70, my hands get cold. But I warm them up, and that's fine. That's been the same all the way through. I don't have any feelings of sickness or pain within my body at all. I think a lot of the arthritis is gone, but not all of it. Now my skin's cleared up a little bit, not too much. Of course, I look gaunt and haggard and old, as people point out. But then when you lose 30 pounds, where do you expect the skin to go besides down? It's going to take me about 3 weeks to get back to eating again. I'll start tomorrow. I think I'm going to be starting with a glass of water with 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice and 2 tablespoonfuls of real maple syrup, grade B. I had lots of advice and information from friends who know how to do these things. So I'm just going to follow their advice, do that for a couple of days, maybe 3, and then go on to broth, and then go on to light vegetables. You know, there's a gradual progression. It'll probably take a couple of weeks to get up to the more complex stuff, and proteins and cheese, or back to normal eating. It'll probably take about 3 weeks. Of course, when I get back to the normal eating, I'm looking forward to all these delicious foods that I really like. So it's all pretty easy as long as you take. If you do it wrongly, you're going to probably kill yourself. So anybody who does, even if it's just fasting, be very careful how you get back, because your system is all shut down and it has to learn how to start eating again. And if you throw stuff in there that's not supposed to be in there, your body won't be able to deal with it, and it'll make you very ill. So that's the physical side, that's the data, and it's pretty clear. Now let me talk a little bit more about the reactions and the responses of people, because they've been pretty intense and actually quite amazing. There's been positive and negative, and both of that is just fine. I think people have a right and a duty and a desire to express themselves, and it's wonderful that everyone can express themselves in the way that they want to. There could not really have been anything different, because the question I'm bringing up is an extraordinarily important question for survival. It's like a survival. I'm touching on things that are really, really, really important to people in how everything in their lives works. It goes against the grain in all our cultures. I'm not surprised that people are having the response that they have. I think people are very sincere in their responses, and they really do think I'm crazy, or they do think I should be incarcerated, or all those wonderful descriptions that they have of what they think should happen to me. I think the important thing, and there was always the good stuff as well. I mean, people are very impressed with this and delighted and really open to possibilities that are not in the mainstream of what people think. And this is what it's about. It's going outside of the box that we all live in, and seeing everything from a different point of view and a different knowledge base, and seeing what's true. Who says living on life is true? I don't know. I'm staying in the I don't know. It's still in that space, and that's the space where inquiry comes. To take a question and say, oh no, it's not true, just because your belief systems and your culture says it's not true, keeps you locked in that little box from which is almost no escape. If you could open the mind up even just to ask the question and consider the question, then new things can happen. Can you imagine the people in the Wright brothers, when they said to people, of course you can have an airplane going in the sky, a machine going in the sky. Can you imagine anybody believed that? Of course not. And they were sincere. They were going with their scientific knowledge of the day. And it simply wasn't possible for them to see that the Wright brothers could put a plane in the air. And it wasn't until they did it that they could have any comprehension of that. And of course, look at what we're doing now. And poor old Galileo, look at him. I mean, this is the same situation. He said the world is round, because he looked through different eyes. He asked the questions. But there was nothing in his culture, nothing at all, that could even support asking the question, even. So he was threatened with jail from the Pope if he didn't recant it. And so he had to recant it, the poor guy. There he was, sitting on knowledge that this world is round, not flat. And nobody could hear it. And this happens with everything in our society that's different from the norm. This is how new knowledge comes in, when people ask the question and look in the right places for the answer, not just discount the question because they believe that they're right with their opinions. All opinion, both sides of the question. Say yes, it's true, or no, it's not true. It's all opinion, because we don't know. Except the people who are actually doing this. They know. They're the only people that know. Why not ask them? Don't tell them they're wrong. Don't come into their world. Look and see what they're doing. Open your mind and open your eyes to what's real, rather than your judgments. And then see. Hira Ratan Manak. He's this incredible guy from India who's lived 70 years without eating and drinking. Who's going to believe that? No, not at all. But he's been tested in laboratories, and yes, he's done that. He doesn't eat. Of course, the methodology has been questioned. Everything's questioned. So he probably would be invited to come into an American laboratory or a Western laboratory where the strict regime that they have there, and test it in the Western situation for a Western mind to see this. And what are you going to say when he says, when they find out, yes, he can do it? Are you going to change your opinion just because you see something that's the truth? If it's the truth? I don't understand this huge, huge lashback because the question has been asked. What I also want Pete to say at the moment is that the type of feedback, I mean the person that gives the feedback, whatever it is saying, if I say anything about you, all I am doing is revealing who I am. I reveal my opinions, I reveal my judgments, I reveal my ideas, I reveal the box that I live in, I reveal my emotions, I reveal my anger, I reveal whatever it is that I say about you is my story. It's nothing to do with you. So I think that when you really get that whatever anybody says about you, they're not talking about you. They're simply revealing what's going on in their minds. And there's nothing wrong with that. We do that all the time. The way that it's revealed indicates what kind of a person that is. The maliciousness of some of the people with their comments simply reveals what's going on inside of them. Tells you what they're feeling. It actually tells you their level of fear. Because the fear that this is aroused is very primal. And people have to be right. And people get really, really terrified when they find that what they're thinking is truth might not be. So denial, fear, shouting, screaming, blaming, cursing, telling me I'm crazy. All of those things, it's about them. And then all those people who come and give me these wonderful, helpful thank yous, and we appreciate it, and all those wonderful things that those people say, you can feel from that the kindness of their hearts, the understanding that they have. Still, it's them speaking of them. And everybody has a right to be who they are. Everybody. So I'm actually not at all worried about the criticism. I like the praise, but that's my ego that likes the praise. It's all the same thing. It's still not... that's showing the people inside, and that's what they're sharing. But as far as the project goes, it doesn't say anything about the project at all. It doesn't say, is it true, is it not? And that's what I did the project for. What has happened is quite phenomenal. It has gone so far out into the world, and this has happened because it's meant to happen. There is something within the energy of this that has said, this is what needs to happen, simply because it happened. I don't know any of the whys, whos, whats. I'm not religious. All the people that call me a crazy religious something, I'm not religious at all. In fact, my whole life has been questioning those religious beliefs and systems and belief systems, especially my own. So, you know, people run with their own stories. It has no relevance to who I am. People are jumping on, she's doing it for money thing and saying, oh, she didn't get any money, isn't that great? And all those things. So just let me talk about that a minute. In my own life, I've always had abundance in my own life. I've led a very adventurous life. What I do is I go work, make some money, I go out and do my travels, I go here, there, everywhere, do all sorts of fun, exciting things, and I come back broke. No different from what I'm doing now. When I come back broke, I go get a job, I save money, I start again. I love the life I lead. I have such a great time, and I look around at people slaving away doing the things that they want to do, which is fine for them. And I'm going, why are they doing that? But of course, my choices are not your choices, and your choices aren't my choices. It's none of my business what you do. It's none of your business what I do either. But I happen to have shared this one with you. And that was an amazing experience. It was probably one of the highlights of my life just to have done it. So when I'm in my own space, I'm very abundant. I can create money really easily. What happened in the project, though, it was a whole different thing. It was like the project was its own entity. It had its own energy running it. And I did whatever I could to get enough money to keep it going. And it never happened. And that was shocking to me. I thought here was this incredible possibility that our world could live without having to destroy it, eating food. And in my mind, who wouldn't do this? I mean, who wouldn't? It's a crime not to do this if it's a possibility. So I did it. I got it together, put it out. I only had enough to get it going, and I needed more to keep it going. I actually did have enough in the end because the little bits that came in kind of kept it kicking along. But it was more like the message I got from the money not coming in that was the important thing. It's all about energy. So when I saw that it didn't come in, I had to look deeper. It was just like, this is really strange. And when I really did see that, no, don't do this. This is way, way too dangerous. People will look at one tiny little thing and think they got the whole story, and then they will just go and do it and kill themselves. Who wants to do that? I think people are totally responsible for everything in their lives, what they do, what they decide, their choices, and then there's consequences to that. But I don't think you could ever blame somebody else for you or your life or what you do. So people choosing to do this after having seen me or somebody else do it, and then killing themselves, this wasn't have been a good choice. They didn't take the information. They just took one tiny dot of it and forgot the whole rest of the thing. It's the tightrope walker thing again. See somebody else tightrope walking, looks great, I can do it, but you don't do what is necessary to create it. And I didn't. I don't think I did what was necessary to create it. I just came from the wrong side of that. I just wanted it to be known. And that wasn't what existence wanted because it didn't happen. But what did happen was what existence wanted. Who knows where this is going to go and what it's going to create in the future? It's just gone way out of my hands and way out of anybody else's hands. It'll have impacts all over the world, good and bad. I mean, that's what happens. This is the information age. So what happened out there is phenomenal. I call it a total success. I don't care whether it's what success and failure is. I did what I did. And that was what I needed to do. So, just trying to think what else I wanted to say in this YouTube. I think I said everything for now. I'm going to do a YouTube tomorrow just to do a finale. You can watch the closing down of the experiment. Nobody needs to worry about me. I know, I'm not, in spite of the names I've been called, I'm not stupid or crazy or anything else. To me, it was just what an amazing experiment in consciousness. I think this is going to come out. I think quantum physics is going to give us so much information that we can finally get a way to be able to see something that I'm talking about, like living on light, and other phenomena that are in the world which we all ignore or discount or say it's not true without really looking. So I think our future is open to infinite possibilities. And I think the Living on Light experiment has done its little bit. It's done its bit. It did what it was supposed to do. And I have absolutely no regrets about this. So, thank you very much for listening again, and I will do the last one tomorrow, and at midday, the experiment will close down. So Thank you for listening again.